Hi people, Mark here on Creating a Digital Life. So today I wanted to bring up a topic that is actually quite interesting and worth considering when it comes to the current modern digital age, which is about how education is shifting and what you need to consider when, let's say, entering college or potentially getting a degree in a chosen field. So here goes. So I was reading this article from one of the bloggers, and it was talking about like how the degrees and how the certain applications are being evaluated at certain companies. So what I mean is that there was, I think it was Stanford University, who created a course where both Stanford attendees and students, as well as people outside the university, could attend that particular course, and they would be able to, let's say, participate in an exam where their results would be evaluated by professional teachers and would be sent an email where they would be offered the opportunity to send their resumes to some companies that were looking for people with that particular skill that the course was teaching. And that actually got me thinking a little bit, because what we as a society have been focusing on recently, in the last couple of decades, if I dare to put it this way, is that we are focusing way too much on getting a piece of paper that gives us a certain qualification in, let's say, that would be engineering, marketing, administration, hospitality, whatever you want to talk about, music, anything that you that can come to mind. But the point is that the amount of knowledge that you get within that particular course or that program may not be exactly what the employer is looking for. So what is worth considering is that you should be focusing on, let's say, covering a certain course online that is relevant to a chosen field, whether that be science within biology or chemistry related to astrophysics, or I don't know, whatever field you want to work in, and have that as a benchmark and build upon that knowledge rather than completing a college degree that can cost you your entire fortune and your future savings potentially. So what you should realize and understand is that just by attending university or college may not be sufficient enough to get a job, which I'm sure that many of that already realized. But what I want to point out is that by attending these online sessions, like let's say LinkedIn Learning, that is one very powerful tool where you can attend any kind of course you want. It doesn't cost you a huge amount of money and you can cover it in your pace and time. But the point is that if you're able to complete those courses and pass certain checkpoints, show up that kind of knowledge on your resume, then that is essentially more effective rather than just spending 3, 4, 5 years at a certain place in Stanford, Yale, Harvard, you name it, and showing it up on your resume that you have completed a number of courses, but what is the actual knowledge you've accumulated? So what I noticed and understood is that basically if you're focusing on your online education next to a job, even if you're just starting out as a first-time employee, you could be always progressing along the job that you're doing, as employers are actually willing to invest more and more into the education of employees and keep building that knowledge that can be useful in the future. So therefore you would not be reliant on that specific skill set that you gain within that 3 to 5 year span, but rather continuing to build that over the period of time while you're working at a certain employer or as you're looking for new jobs. But the point is you're always educating yourself. So what you should be thinking about is that what are your main interests? What are the things that you want to get better at? And what kind of skills are needed in order to excel in those fields? And once you're able to narrow those 3 topics down, you should get a pretty good idea of going on any kind of, let's say, free learning courses or any of these education platforms where you, if you pass a certain test and are able to get within a certain percentile of students, then your resume could potentially be submitted to an employer where you could be accepted as one of the future contributors of the organization. I'm going to leave a link of the blog that I mentioned earlier on about the opportunities where you can also sign up for these free education courses, and you can check it out, see what it makes sense to you. But I would hugely recommend this to you, that despite of me having a degree as well, by the way, I do see this as the future, because you need to understand that working within any kind of environment does require continuous training, because things are changing, things are evolving. So the stuff that you learn at college and universities, even though that lays the groundwork, that's all that it is, the groundwork, but doesn't prepare you necessarily for every single company they're going to apply for, they're going to talk to, and therefore you always need to keep learning online and keeping your digital skills up on a certain level, or well, not just the digital skills, but you know what I mean. So just focusing on taking these online courses, developing yourself all the time, and yeah, just to apply based on that kind of knowledge to the companies that would recommend and accept people like these. So hope you guys find this topic insightful, and that video gave you some some relevation maybe to something that you were looking for. In case if you have any suggestions, any topics you want to talk about, then let me know in the comments, and as always, have a great day.